one of the other things about SMT is that it's consistently taking place in Japan, whereas most RPGs take place in some kind of fantasy setting because they can control it. For whatever reason, they always make it take place in Japan, so it's got like this real world apocalyptic feel to it. Because it's always Japan, and then some catastrophic event happens, and now you're exploring usually the remains or what's left of Japan. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
That threw me the fuck off. Okay, well, Persona 5 didn't, but because I knew what that was. But in terms of SMT4, it threw me off because somebody like me that's a new player, which I imagine on 3DS there were probably a lot of new players jumping into SMT4. So going into SMT4, it starts out and it does kind of have more of a fantasy element to it, and you're kind of like thrown into this world with the samurai and stuff, and you're kind of thrown away with thrown around on these missions and everything, and then you get deeper and deeper, and then you finally see Tokyo, whatever, and in the city and everything underground, and it's all destroyed, and that's when you're like, holy shit, like this isn't a fantasy realm, like this is our this is Earth. And that was like a point where I was like, oh god, like I did not expect this. I was like, I don't know, I just, because again, I'd never hear much about SMT. So I was like, oh, I had no idea that SMT4 was like the same thing, where it took place in Tokyo, where it was like Persona 5, basically, just after the apocalypse.
Yeah. It's very interesting, the dichotomy between the two in Persona or Mega 10. Persona is typically like just the Japanese kind of anime experience. It's very caricature, high school, like mean professor, kind of stringent and get your grades and stuff. And you're actually replying to professors in class. It kind of reminds me of Bully. I don't know if you guys played that, but
yeah.
SMT, on the other hand, is literally like where the shit goes down. Like, you don't want to be in Tokyo, but if we know one thing, it's that the apocalypse happens in Tokyo. Here's the rest of the world, and here's Tokyo. Tokyo has the apocalypse, and so it's kind of funny in a sense, because it's like the end of the world, but it's only happening in one place. But
yeah, I've always wondered about that. Like, can anybody, if somebody's in America, can they just kind of look over and see just a big haze? What's going on?
Flights will not be departing to Tokyo. We'll be stopping in Korea.
Yeah.
But I do just generally like that they're using real world locations. I know Pokemon does it as well, the Johto or the Kanto regions, and they're based in parts of Japan. But it's really more, felt in the Megami Tensei games. Now, on the other hand, in playing through Nocturne, or even SMT4 to some extent, they do feel a bit devoid at times of character, because everything is just broken down and there's no real life to it. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, to me, it's always felt odd that they chose real world locations, because they just destroy them and they don't look like anything. So it's like, I've always felt it weird that they would even bother to make it that way. But I guess it works in that way that it's supposed to be like real life. Like, it's supposed, because the theme is always going to be, the themes are always so grand, and they're just like good versus, or not even good. It's like lawful and
chaos,
you know these better than me, but chaos and do you believe in anything? Like, you can believe in nothing. You can and so it's really the world's view on that, and so it makes sense that they have a real world thing. But from a geography perspective, it's kind of disappointing, because in Persona, it's kind of cool. You get to go to these real places, and they're there, and you can explore them a little bit and understand the culture. In this, there is no culture; it's dust. It's all dust. So
that's my biggest hurdle right now, is where I'm currently at. Probably why I haven't picked it up recently, besides me being busy with review month, go check it out, is just the fact that the city, nothing in the city really looks any different when it comes to the map. And I'm at a point to where I don't know where I'm going. I'm at a point to where I'm not entirely sure which direction I need to be heading, and I've like fucked around the map for a while and I can't quite figure it out. So I'm gonna have to look it up, which I hate doing. So that's like my only that's the only thing with the game that I do not enjoy so far is that like you can give me a picture of the map and be like, "Hey, help me out here." I'll be like, "That looks like the entire map."
Yep.
Right? So that's my only issue is that like there's nothing memorable when it comes to the map itself, and so I'm having some navigation issues. Yeah,
I think in hearing about like how when you go to these places they're just destroyed and devoid. I honestly think, I'm thinking from the perspective of a Japanese player that might have more significance to them and more real world meaning because maybe like everybody knows where Yoyogi Park is and they know about like the flora and the fauna or whatever, the blossom trees. And then seeing it in that light where it's like suddenly it's so devoid of character maybe has a different meaning to them than it might to us. It's just interesting the conundrum that SMT and Persona are as popular as they are stateside.
That's a really good point. I never even considered that. But yeah, like if they were like, it's going to take place in Arizona, and then here's the Grand Canyon, like I would understand that, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I can see it. But yeah, I don't even. But yeah, Tokyo, they probably get that a lot better over there.
Did you say Yogi Park, like Yogi Bear?
Yes. Confirm.